I recently watched Transformers 1. It was a surprisingly decent movie. The trailers don't do it justice. It's quite a difference seeing Orion Pax on the big screen. I mean, I was always fascinated by the Transformers lore. Our previous exposure to Orion Pax was normally relegated to comic books and novels, so not much was known about Optimus's early years. In the movie, alongside D16, he was a minor bot. D16 was a great addition with a justifiable motivation for his rage. I enjoyed his character, perhaps the most sympathetic Megatron I've ever seen. I just wish he had red eyes from the start. Whenever someone's eyes change like this, it's a sign they went evil, which is ridiculous. I hate it with a violent passion. B was comic relief. I don't really like his character, as he doesn't have much of anything going for him, outside of the fact that he's the crazy guy who talks too much. I suppose it might be foreshadowing for what happens to him in most futures. Alita 1 was a no-nonsense character, clearly meant to keep Orion grounded with a firm hand. His character later no longer requires this though, so at least in most futures, he has somewhat of a narcissistic personality, but it's usually played up for laughs. Sentinel Prime was a decent character for what he was supposed to be. They did a good job at hiding his motivation and foreshadowing it. I'd say the movie would be damn near perfect if it wasn't for the characterization at the end. D16's eyes turn red when he finally gives up on trying to save Optimus, who foolishly took the bullet for a known tyrant and murderer. When Optimus finally emerged from the core of Cybertron, he was right to try to stop D16 from his rampage, but it doesn't change the facts. Megatron's desire to kill the remaining loyalists of Sentinel Prime was not unjustified, nor was it anything like Sentinel did. It was not a betrayal, like Optimus says it was. It was fear from Megatron that everything in Iacon was built to honor Sentinel Prime, to let him live like a king. And there will be loyalists. There are always loyalists. They could become terrorists, even force them into a life of indentured servitude once more. In fact, that's exactly what happened in some series. After the Quintessons were ejected from Cybertron, a caste system took its place. It's where Gladiator Megatron and Librarian Prime comes from. The reason for Megatron's fall in this continuity is not unreasonable. He's simply lost trust in everything. The Primes, the gods Primus. I, like Megatron, find myself with more questions than answers, and recognize that Megatron simply can't just stop seeing bits of Sentinel and everything. If Optimus is allowed to end Megatron, then Megatron should be able to game end Sentinel Prime. The one who was betrayed by was Megatron, not Orion. He felt the need to stop him from ending a tyrant when he would attempt to do so multiple times in almost all universe, especially Bayformers, Transformers Prime, and the Fall of Cybertron video game. What they should have focused on was the fact that there was no doubt not everyone who knew about Sentinel Prime's deceit was a willful volunteer. If you're threatened with game end every time you speak out of turn, people will remain silent until given the opportunity to speak. I'm sure just as many villains in Sentinel's clique were in the same boat as the rest of them, or at least at risk at some point. And some of them surely will want to take the power vacuum left by Sentinel. And there might be some slight dissidents, or even completely innocent people. They should have focused Megatron's hatred of the ruling caste, the former boss with their cogs now removed, as potentially being innocent in spite of Sentinel's deceit, making his desire to game end them all actually somewhat unreasonable. Seeing them come so close to perfection and yet missing the mark so badly near the end severely disappointed me. The marketing for this movie was also god-awful. The focus on the humorous bits too much. Most Transformers fans aren't even close to kids anymore. Another thing that bugged me was that they called themselves Transformers and not Cybertronians. I think it would have been much more interesting bit of world building if it was revealed that Sentinel was the one that changed their species' name to further push the classist system that he created with the removal of conversion cogs by constantly reminding everyone of their artificial differences. Overall, an enjoyable experience with one fatal flaw that drives it down for me. And if you haven't seen the movie, go see it for yourself. I apologize for the spoilers if you clicked here, but you know, it's going to be there in the, you know, title. So, you know, you know. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.